All right, guys, we're here today. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. We got Jerome Powell speaking in a little while. There we go. What's up, Julius, Martin, Joan, Ryan, Marco, Fox, Ava, McGee, Pawn, Jack, Ray, Ava. Hey, good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. Yeah, we got Jerome Powell speaking at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. He's supposed to give opening remarks for some type of conference. We'll cover it. We'll stream it. What's up, guys? So yeah, I went to the orthopedic yesterday, man, and they gave me this knee brace that does not let me bend my leg more than 60 degrees. And I'm telling you, this thing's a freaking problem. Literally, like, if you think I'm a little bit more farther back than I normally am, it's because I am, but it's because I got a leg. I'm like Forrest Gump in this thing, basically, right now. You know, cheers to this leg brace. Hope you guys are doing good today. But yeah, we got Jerome Powell at least. Yeah, he speaks at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Government still shut down. This is day 9. Government shutdown. Next week, we're supposed to have CPI inflation data as well. So we're supposed to have CPI inflation data next week, but it doesn't look like we're going to do that. One of the big runners is AMD. AMD flew up yesterday. Hit 244 at all-time highs. The SPY is at 670, still pretty close to all-time highs on it. It broke it last night, 674, but all-time high during market hours, I believe, is around 673.20s now. Gold still sitting over 4,000, hasn't retraced yet. If we take a look at NVIDIA here, NVIDIA up to 190s, broke all-time highs in pre-market or after hours yesterday, I should say. And yeah, but the Nasdaq slightly red today. The Nasdaq slightly red. The S&P is slightly red as well, although more flat. And yeah, I think we got some earnings this morning, don't we? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we got Delta Airlines reported 171 EPS versus 152 expected. A surprise of 12.5%, revenue of 16.67 billion versus 15.93 billion expected. So Delta Airlines beat EPS, beat revenue. Pepsi beat EPS 229 versus 227, only a slight beat of 0.9%. Revenue came in at 23.94 billion versus 23.88 billion, so a small beat for revenue and EPS. For Pepsi, Tilray cannabis stock came in flat, $0 EPS, which they expected a loss of 3 cents per share, so it's better than expected. Revenue 209.5 versus 206.8 expected. And yeah, we had some earnings this morning from those companies. Delta is up, Tilray up, and we also have Applied Digital this evening. Pepsi, which is only slight beats, is kind of flat from this report. But yeah, we're watching NVIDIA, we're watching AMD. Oracle invested in NVIDIA. Here, I gotta pull this mic a little bit closer. There we go. Oracle. Yeah, gold's still up. Gold's still up. It's still at 4,050s right now. All-time highs are 4,080s, but it's close enough. Will rates be cut once or twice this year? They might be cut 3 times. Personally, I think they might do 25, 25, 25. And so, again, they might be cut 3 times. That's what I think. I think they're going to do 25, 25, 25. They did 25 last meeting. They're going to do 25, I think, this month. And speaking of that, let's take a look at yields to see where yields are sitting right now. Yields are down relative to where they were yesterday, showing a lower interest rate sentiment. Let's see how they net reacted to the FOMC minutes report. FOMC minutes report showed up. Yeah, so this is the FOMC minutes report right here. Let me make this so y'all can actually see it. FOMC minutes report showed up at 2 p.m. Let's see what time it says though. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so the FOMC minutes report showed up right here yesterday. Right around here. So this is where the FOMC minutes report came out. And yields are down from it. Yields are now right here. But they were higher. They were at 4.135% yesterday afternoon prior to the FOMC minutes report. So it looks like markets are interpreting this as a dovish FOMC report. And then we got Powell speaking today. If we take a look at odds here, still at 94-5. This is unchanged. I don't think we have any data to change this. You know, like, I don't think we have any data to move the Fed in either direction. So I think we're probably just going to cut rates 25 basis points in a couple weeks. As long as the government doesn't open and we don't get data to move this, you know. All right, so the EU Commission is concerned about China's decision on rare earth exports. He says the EU Parliament is to investigate allegations concerning Hungary's spying. And pull up yeah, so Pepsi slight beat. HSBC slumps after a $14 billion bet on Hong Kong at a hefty premium. So HSBC on Thursday said it was offering a 30% premium to buy just over the 1/3 of Hong Seng Bank it didn't already own. The offer of $155 per share Hong Kong dollars entirely in cash would boost HSBC's earnings, as it would remove the minority interest earnings deduction from the bank. The UK-based bank said in the first half, Hong Kong represented at least 30% of profits before tax. So one of the new like dynamics we're seeing in markets, we're seeing a poly market, Cauchy derivative betting markets is kind of what it is. It's like you can bet on whatever there. We're seeing those markets sprout up. And because of that, we're starting to see conventional like markets like FanDuel and DraftKings start to drop. You know, like look at these drops over the last few months for DraftKings. It's at 44, it's now at 34. So a little bit less than 25%, but very big drop here. Look at that. If we look at FanDuel, which is, you can see the same dynamic. And this is when markets are breaking all-time highs. So people are expecting those kind of derivatives sites like Cauchy and stuff to take some of their business, I'm assuming. And again, AMD's big name of the day. It's running up big. Bitcoin, if we take a look at Bitcoin today, Bitcoin went all the way down to low 120s, back up to 123s this morning. So let's see if that holds. In current environment, what can bring this market down? I mean, like 2 to 3% correction. What do you think? I think anything can do that. I think we could see a 2 to 3% correction just from exhaustion. Market's been breaking all-time highs. It's not rare to pull back afterwards, but you never know. Nvidia is pretty green. Nvidia is close to all-time highs. AMD's at all-time highs as well. The Nasdaq is red. The S&P is slightly red. If you take a look at the S&P here, previous closing prices is a light blue line, so it's basically flat, but it's technically slightly red is what I'm showing. Yeah, we'll see. And again, we got Jerome Powell speaking at 8:30 Eastern time. The government shutdown rolls on. They didn't come to an agreement yesterday. Yeah, they might be starting to cancel flights from the shutdown as well that I'm reading. Although the Delta CEO did say the government shutdown hasn't impacted their operations. IRS is furloughing nearly half of its workforce during the gov shutdown. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I would never celebrate that, but no. Yeah, Nasdaq just or E-mini now technically green on the day. Here's the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's still pretty red. It closed at 25,354s, at 25,330s. So it's still $20 plus away from going green on the day. If the shutdown ends, they should schedule the data for the next scheduled release, I think. Probably. Yeah, we got Jerome Powell in 1 hour here. I'll put a timer up. Nasdaq's kind of slow here. I mean, it's going green. It's looking better, but it's still looking a little rough up here. Like the range is small. It looks bullish, but the range is small. I do like this 25,300, and it looks like the all-time highs in the Nasdaq are now 25,394. 25,394, right here. New all-time highs right here. We will see what happens there. But Nasdaq's close to all-time highs, of course. S&P just went green. AMD up big. Nvidia close to all-time highs. What's up, MJ? Thanks, man. Yeah, Tilray had earnings better than expected. It's up to $2 from 170, so a pretty decent percentage there. About 15% from their earnings. Tilray. A little bit more than that, might be like 16 or 17% for Tilray. Apple slightly red. Amazon's flat basically, but slightly red. Google slightly red. Meta slightly green. Again, AMD's the interesting one to watch, I think. AMD, all-time highs. Yeah, y'all do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Yeah, NVIDIA AMD definitely interesting. And if I had to pick a side, it'd probably be on the bull side. I might take a small position now and just hang out and wait. If markets start running up, we're going to take 2 micros here. Yeah, so bio stocks have been short squeezing. Look at this one. It is PTRX. This thing went up to 50 today. I'm just going to take half off because we already got a pretty decent little break here. I'll hold the rest break even. Here, I'll turn the music down a little bit if the music's too loud. Alright. Ready for discounts? Do you guys think the market... Let me do a poll. I haven't done a poll this morning yet. I want to do one. Is the stock market in bubble territory? I want to see what the answers for this are. I'm genuinely curious about the answers to this. Yeah, is the stock market in bubble territory? I mean, gold is up. It's around all-time highs. I'm not really going to bet against it right now. The question is, does it hold? But most people think no, the stock market is not in bubble territory. I'm surprised. I would say based off of the sentiment we're hearing, I'm surprised more people don't think we're in bubble territory. We're starting to see the percentages sway a little bit. We got 60 votes. Vote on the poll right now. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know if Powell's going to say anything about the economy today. I really don't know if he will. I mean, we're going to stream it like we always do. But I just don't know if he's going to say anything. All right, I'm going to add some size back into this dip. See if we get a little bounce here. We already took profits, so we can do this pretty safely. And it's incredibly small. Bro, I swear, dude, this... President posts, I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan, end quote. So that's good, I guess. ECB officials saw uncertainty justifying unchanged rates. Bro, y'all don't understand how uncomfortable this brace is. My leg has to be out this whole time. I can't bend my leg. And I'm pretty sure this can't be 60 degrees, bro. This is more like freaking... At this point, I'm convinced I've clicked a button. And it's at like... Ugh. It's at like 10 degrees. I'm convinced. Y'all want to see what I'm on? Like, y'all want to see what this thing? It's never mind. It would take me a minute to honestly limp over there. I mean, you can watch the live stream with Powell here. We're gonna cover it. All right, so now 54% of people think that the stock market is in a bubble here. Yeah, I mean, tech could be in a bubble. I agree. I mean, my personal opinion is tech might be in a bubble. I think AI is affecting jobs to a certain extent, even if they don't say that. I think AI is affecting jobs. Definitely parts of the market are bubbly, but hard to imagine the smartest CEOs and business owners of this gen are completely wrong on AI. Yeah, I mean, AI is that next big technology. I think that's very obvious. Like, people are using AI for all kind of different things now. But it doesn't mean we're not in a bubble. The internet was that next big technology in 2000s, saw a bubble first. And so what's a bubble? Bubble is crazy valuations, like deep speculation and euphoria, bad companies making tons of money for just being in the big sector that's popping off at that moment, and super high PE ratios, you know. And again, I would argue in that context, you know, it's certainly easy to argue we are in a bubble. A lot of AI companies right now that are not the best. Super high PE ratios. Euphoria certainly here. We've been breaking all-time highs in a lot of different things. So I think you could probably argue we're in one. We're flat in this day trade. We're in here. Let's see what happens. Now it's 60-40 that think we are in a bubble. Yeah, banks can give crazy loans. I mean, yeah, that's one of them, you know. But the banks, we've had high interest rates for years now. Really. Interest rates, we had a very low interest rate environment of 2020 in which the Fed brought rates down to almost zero. And then even prior to 2020, like rates, people got really used to low interest. And especially like mortgages were like 2.5% and 3%. And people got really used to that over the last, like, realistically over the last like 20 years plus. People got really used to this super low interest rate environment. And then the Fed started raising rates. And, you know, this was back 3-4 years ago. The Fed started raising rates. And now even if you look at mortgages, right? Mortgages are at 6-7%. I think 6.4, 6.5% is still average 30-year mortgage. Now 30-year long-term is a little bit different, but what a lot of people are saying is that it hasn't slowed the buying, which could certainly also be a sign. I'm a little scared of a 3% pullback at all-time highs. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to, after the stream, I'm gonna have to like reorganize my office. What's up, dude? Yeah, Nvidia flying up here, breaking all-time highs this morning. AMD as well. AMD tapped all-time highs yesterday. 238 right now, which is all-time highs for the. We'll see what it does during market hours, but yeah, AMD, Nvidia, microchips flying. Again, futures are down a little bit, but I think the S&P went green. We had Pepsi, Delta, and some other earnings. We had the Fed minutes release yesterday that showed the president's tariffs could weigh on outlook for growth and inflation. So 10-year bonds, again, 4.13%. Currently, we got a 95% chance of a 25 basis point cut later this month. How's the knee? I actually got some pretty good news at my orthopedic yesterday. First time I'd really seen the orthopedic. My orthopedic thinks, after looking at the MRI, that the meniscus tear was an old injury that's probably already healed. He said he didn't see a lot of fluid by the meniscus, which is usually something that you would see. He said basically if I tore my meniscus, there would be like a lot of swelling in my knee. And he's saying basically he just doesn't see that. He doesn't see a lot of swelling in my knee. I'm going to add a little bit to this and then just leave it with 4. But yeah, he basically said he doesn't see a lot of swelling in my knee. And I used to skateboard a lot and I've trained jiu-jitsu for years. So it's very possible, he said, that my meniscus was already torn. He said it was a small tear in my meniscus as well. And there wasn't a lot of fluid around it. And so basically, he said there's a pretty freaking high chance that the meniscus injury is an old injury. And so that's a great thing because that means that I just got to heal my MCL, which does, the MCL heals naturally. But with that good news, he stuck me in a brace that I literally, like, this has got to be like my basic, like my left leg has to essentially stay extended like this. Like I can't bend it 90 degrees. He says it's 60 degrees, which should be like here. There's no freaking way it's 60 degrees. I don't know if I pressed a button. My leg's like this right now, and I can't bend it at all. Top 3 worst feelings ever right now. I feel like Forrest Gump. I feel like Forrest Gump right now. But it was good news. It was good news. The inside, Jeff. I don't know how Build-A-Bear is even like a successful company. Now, to be fair, my kids are older, right? My daughter's 16, my son's 11. I don't know how Build-A-Bear is still a viable business. But to be fair, I haven't been in a Build-A-Bear since my kids were little, right? The last time I got a bear, I think was for my daughter when she was like 3. And so it's been a decade plus since I've been in a Build-A-Bear. I still can't understand how they're like a viable public company. That would be like if I opened up a hot dog stand and then went public with that hot dog stand. You know, it just doesn't seem like it's a viable public company. And, but listen, maybe they're making more money than I really expect. Yeah, so it's looking like I'll probably have to cut this position. I'm going to give it time to bounce, though. I wanted to see if it would break out, and now it's looking like it's just going sideways. Huge demand on a bubble. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, their cost is low, right? Like it's teddy bears. Realistically, teddy bears, the bears that they sell probably cost what? Like $5 or less to make? Like genuinely, like net cost is $5, probably something like that. And so realistically, it probably is pretty cheap to make those bears. So their margins have got to be high. Yeah, I mean, their revenue's good. What's their EPS like? All right, I'm going to have to cut this position here. We gave it a shot, but I'm just going to get out of this, and we'll come back and figure out what we're going to do with the rest of this later. Debt is at all-time highs. I'm not trading gold at the moment. 4,000 level, major milestone. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not really interested in... I mean, I think gold might break highs and stuff, but I don't know it well enough to capitalize on it in that way. I mean, I think it might run. All right. Several ECB officials viewed inflation risks tilted to the downside. A few ECB members viewed inflation risks tilted to the upside. ECB Schnabel saw risks of sudden and sharp market corrections, and Lane proposed no rate change as opposed to a rate cut regarding the ECB. They saw trade tensions as two-sided risk. Inflation saw uncertainty justifying unchanged rates. Okay, so in this Combine account, we did buy this dip, and we are up. Let's see if we can... we're green now on this. Yeah, I thought gold was short at 2,000. 100%. For me, it's about risk management. I think this big gold surge is hard to predict. But yeah, I was definitely wrong about it. Up here, it's not really that I don't think it's going to go up. It's that I'm not confident enough to day trade this level here effectively, I think. I got to wait. I'd rather just wait. All right, so we're going to add to this now. I don't know if Powell's really going to say anything about market outlook or economics. I really don't think he will. I'm going to stream it like we always do. You'll be able to watch it live here. But, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to... Stock market is definitely in a bubble territory, but I personally don't see it popping anytime soon. No euphoria. I mean, I would argue we got some euphoria here. Most don't understand inflation and how bad it is. Yeah, I saw somebody say the same thing, Tim. Like, essentially, they're pricing in the devaluation of the dollar. And that's why we're seeing markets move like this. I heard that. It was from, I think it was it Ray Dalio? It was somebody that said that. Explain to me, how does Tesla keep getting worse, but Tesla stock keeps going up? Well, I think you got to understand there's a number of different things going on with Tesla. Robotics, AI, deliveries came in better than expected. They debuted their low-cost model under 40K. All of that stuff's driving optimism around the company, as well as the fact that Tesla was beat up, right? Like, Tesla over the last few years Tesla went up to 488s at the end of last year, and then came all the way down to 200 basically. And then people started recognizing it as cheap and then buying it back up, and now it's back up there, you know. So like Tesla is just kind of, they always say Tesla moves like a meme stock, and I'm optimistic about the future of Tesla. I think the future of Tesla should be good if they can continue doing what they're doing. You might see fluctuations in numbers, but it's AI related 100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, yeah, it's people betting on the future. Again, AMD's the big one today. I think we're seeing a lot of money pull into AI. I think people recognize how big AI is. AI has gotten so good where you can't really tell the difference between AI generated video and actual like real video. And because of that, we're seeing moves with AI everywhere. Like we're seeing social media, we're seeing all this different stuff happen with AI. And so it's an interesting market for sure. What's up, Sam? Breaks just agreed to use rare earth minerals rather than the petro. Yeah, 100%. And I think I want to say it was Ray Dalio. Let me see who said. Trying to find where I read it. Maybe I missed it. I'm trying to find the thing I saw. I think it was him. It might have been somebody else though. What's another like big famous analyst? The Cook of Wall Street, John from Beginner Trading. I mean, he's definitely top 3, but I'm talking like top 2 over here. I'm gonna have to, you know, give myself another nickname based off of this leg right now. All right, gold. Honestly, we're seeing kind of choppy action. I don't know how much Jerome Powell is gonna move things. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, one of the things Paul Tudor Jones said, the big beautiful bill contains a provision to ban AI regulation by the states for 10 years. If John Connor from Terminator had an X account, he would retweet this. Be John Connor. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. We need to make sure AI does not have defense mechanisms. That should be number 1. I get it, money's flowing into it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the person I was reading was Ray Dalio, but I can't find the post that he made. Maybe it was an older post. Let me see if I can search for it. Yeah, I mean, basically, maybe that's why people are hedging towards gold so much, and you see gold rising as much as it is because dollar devaluing. Get to the chopper now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Nvidia up there. I mean, it's not gonna register as new highs until market open. So we still got a little bit of time. We got 3 minutes until 8 a.m. Yeah, so I am effectively in week 1 now. This happened on Thursday. Yeah, Nvidia could break all-time highs. AMD might break all-time highs. It's been a crazy market. Again, bubbles are characterized by massive valuations, excessive speculation, unprofitable company raising huge amounts of money, and high PE ratios. I think a lot of people would argue we're in that right now. And looking at our poll, we did a poll this morning. 60 to 40. Yes, we're in a bubble out of 400 votes. So we'll see. And I'm usually not one to be like this, to be honest. I'm usually one that criticizes crash predictions. And again, I'm still kind of criticizing them now. Like, nothing's 100%. And I think when you treat things like it has to happen. Yeah, I mean, we're down like 40 bucks on this. I'm going to go ahead and probably cut it. I mean, this one's a challenge account, so maybe I could just add to it. But I'll just cut it. Two sideways. We're not really getting enough big range for this. Will Meta split soon? I think Netflix is going to split before Meta is, but I don't know. Netflix is still at $1,200 a share. So I would assume Netflix splits before Meta, but you never know, really. I think it becomes harder to take smaller positions in Netflix based off of how expensive it is. And so I think we're probably going to see Netflix split before anything. Cantor Fitzgerald raises the price target on Nvidia to $300 from $240. We got 30 minutes until Powell speaks. Yeah, I mean, most of AI is with profitable companies. So yeah, most of AI are profitable, but you can't argue. So like, there were a lot of profitable companies in 2000 as well, right? So 2000 happened. We had companies that were pretty profitable. Microsoft, you know, there's a bunch of companies that got really big during the dot-com boom. But the problem is that a lot of them were not as well. And the standard changed pre-profits IPOing. And so that's kind of what busted the bubble a little bit. Yeah, but OpenAI is not really public. They got some, Microsoft owns some of it, but, or gets like royalties from it or whatever. But OpenAI is not really public as a company. I think they're technically a non-profit right now. So. Offer rate showed up at 4.12% from 4.14% the day before. Bitcoin flat on the day. Nasdaq did bounce a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think OpenAI is going to be profitable. People speculate on the profitability of OpenAI. But, you know, what you got to understand with most software at this point in time, and this has been the case for the last 10 plus years, most of the time these companies are making money through data. And think about how much data people feed AI. They feed AI a lot of data. And so that's how these companies are going to make money, and they're going to make a lot of it, probably, including OpenAI, you know. All right, Google also just introduced Gemini Enterprise. It's a centralized agent platform. So the agentic AI platform, Google and Google Cloud are launching Gemini Enterprise, a one-stop full-stack platform that integrates across businesses and enterprise. It unites multiple mature components, including the latest Gemini models to research, no-code workbench, which can be used to orchestrate tasks, and automation, pre-built array of Google agents that can be customized for local businesses' needs, and an entire data connectivity layer that understands company data wherever it's housed. So Google ripping up on this. Look at this. It's up to 247s right now for Google. 247s. And this might influence markets. Google is a Bag 7 tech company, big tech company, of course, with a lot of influence over markets. And markets are interpreting this as positive. Yeah, maybe robotaxis replace. I don't know. Again, I don't know right now. Whew. Tesla got jokes then, Pawn. Yeah, look at Google. Let's watch 250. Micro reactors. Yeah. Yeah, look at Google up there to 248.50s right now. So Google ripping up right now. On this news of the agentic AI Google Gemini Enterprise update. Yeah, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. We got 106 likes. Yeah, there's kind of a peace deal. Yeah, we'll see what the market does. Put my actual combine back up here. All right, we got about 23 minutes before the Powell speech. We'll see what it looks like. I don't know how much he's going to say really here about economic outlook, but we're going to cover it like we always do. We're kind of boring on data. There's not really any big data coming out. We had the Fed minutes yesterday. We had 3,000 something people here watching it. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. But we'll see what Powell says. We're going to stream the whole thing live. Oh, is it actually called Tesla Got Jokes? But I think that's the reasonable thing to call it. Market's so flat right now on a 5-minute chart. I'll have to put a 1-minute chart up and see a little bit cleaner. Yeah, about 22 minutes. We got Jerome Powell. OpenAI does not have enough computing capacity. AI is dependent on computing capacity. Yeah, I mean, maybe. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. There was a peace deal announced, but I'm hearing rumblings that they broke it as well, that it got broken somehow. In terms of news coming out, Reflection AI raises $2 billion in a funding round led by Nvidia, according to New York Times. Jamie Dimon warns 30% chance of a market correction. Yeah, but he says this every single year. I guess he hasn't really been wrong, but he said we could enter a recession every single year for the last like 5 years for Jamie D. Again, so Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, says he's far more worried than others about a stock market correction, estimating the risk at 30% versus the market estimate the risk at 10%. He warned the downturn could happen within 6 to 14 months, citing geopolitical tensions, fiscal spending, politics, and global remilitarization of major risks. He also noted that while AI will ultimately pay off, much of today's investments are wasted, similar to the dot-com crash. He pushed back on claims of declining confidence in the dollar, calling it still the best currency. Well, yeah, that's because you run a bank. But suggested investors might consider diversifying. Yeah, 20 minutes, chat. 20 minutes. All right, look at Google come back down here. Let's see if it bounces at the VWAP though. Bitcoin now just went green on the day. We will correct within 6 to 14 months. That's a sure thing. I don't think anything's a sure thing. It's definitely possible though. But nothing is definitive or absolute in markets. It's possible though. I'm seeing a lot of rumblings about a dot-com crash here. The problem is that when the dot-com crash happened, I don't think most people thought it would happen. Yeah, y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We got 20 minutes left until Jerome Powell speaks. Yeah, so when it hit, it shocked markets, even though a handful of analysts and economists did warn that valuations were unstable. Late 90s euphoria and optimism. Internet was changing. Investors believe this time is different. Retail investors flooded. E-Trade. IPOs of companies with no profits were oversubscribed 20 to 30x. People saw the internet as the gold rush. CNBC, newspapers, and even mainstream media glorified stock trading. Nasdaq rose 400% from 95 to 2000, at one point adding more than 80% in just 1 year. Majority believed the internet boom was permanent. A lot of FOMO. There were a couple people that warned of it. Alan Greenspan, he had a 1996 speech titled Irrational Exuberance. He warned about overvaluations. Robert Shiller, which was a Yale economist, published early versions of this CAPE ratio research showing extreme overvaluations. Later wrote the book, Irrational Exuberance. Dismissed by many as too academic. Warren Buffett, avoided tech stocks entirely, saying they were impossible to value properly. I remember this. So Buffett ended up buying like Pepsi and all these dividend-paying stocks that were not in the tech sector during this period of time. Media called him out of touch with the new economy and old, basically. And then we had Roger McNamee warned that momentum investing was turning markets into a casino. Nasdaq peaked March 10th, collapsed 78% over the next 30 months. Funny thing, everybody thinks we are in a bubble, but everybody thinks he gets out before it bursts. Yeah, looking at our poll, 63% think we're in bubble territory right now. 63%. I think we could be. We also have Japan's ruling party chief, Takaichi, saying legislation needs to be passed through parliament to cut gas tax, compile supplementary budget, as otherwise cost of living will hurt consumption, worsening the economy. Again, Nvidia around all-time highs, AMD around all-time highs. Yeah, I think this time a lot of sideline money are going to look at Bitcoin and others. The question is just where you think they go in all this. All right, guys, we got Jerome Powell speaking in 15 minutes. Yeah, we're here waiting. This is at a community banking conference. Let me, I'll get this up and running here. Smaller. Here. A little bit larger. And this account, we're also green right now. We are trading this here. About 10. There we go. I'm gonna take a little bit more off as this pop happens. Put myself over here in the corner maybe. And maybe make this larger. People can see it. That's pretty clean. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. I think that's pretty clean. And then we'll put the Nasdaq up here. Maybe put like the SPY at the bottom. I don't know. He might not. I don't know if he's going to say anything about economic outlook during the speech. I've said this many times today, but he's supposed to just deliver opening remarks. I'm going to stream it like I always do, but I don't know how big of a movement this is going to be. But we'll cover it like we always do. Are you guys bullish or bearish today? No, we don't get an update on jobless claims, Marco. We don't get jobless claims while the government's shut down. Jobless claims are released by the government. And so we didn't get jobless claims last Thursday. We're not going to get them today either, unfortunately. We do have Bowman doing 8:35 welcoming remarks. Bowman speaking at 8:45. So we do have some Fed members speaking this morning. Bowman specifically. Bowman's usually pretty dovish. She kind of reciprocates what the president wants, right? Because, you know, and so she's going to be pretty dovish in her speech. She's going to be pushing for interest rate cuts if she says anything about the economy at all. And again, we're supposed to get CPI next week on the 15th and then retail sales on the 16th, but the government's still shut down. But yeah, we're not going to get jobless claims today either. All right, so again, the jobless claims report due 8:30 is delayed due to the government shutdown. So. Minutes already said they plan to cut 2 more times this year. Yeah, I think they're going to do 25, 25, 25. Right, but that was as of the last Fed meeting. I don't think we have any data to sway them anymore now, though. I mean, Bitcoin was doing okay this morning. All right, so I'm going to take another little piece off of this here. A 200 exponential move. Really nice. Yeah, we got this report about 10 minutes. Take the rest off right here if I can get out. If not, I'll probably just cut it off. Take the profit. Still waiting for this speech. Super bearish, but in the short term, I'm bullish. Max pain for Bitcoin tomorrow is 115. Yeah. Market's moving fine without red folders. I know, but I want it back, bro. I cover all the economic data. That's what people tune into my stream for, is economic data. So I'm kind of mad they're not covering it, you know. Again, like I said, I'm going to go get a protest sign. Silver. Just hit a... Here, let me make this smaller. I'll leave 2 windows up right here. Silver just hit, they say, I don't want to make this. Yeah, silver, they said, just hit $50 an ounce. Maybe spot silver. But silver's been pumping up. I've heard a lot of people talk about silver lately, and it's been on a move. Oil rebounded a little bit yesterday. It's been slowly coming back. Oil has one of the best long-term trends to capitalize on, despite kind of headwinds you might see from other markets. Yeah, the Fed wants to promote maximum employment and price stability. I want my cake and eat it too here. All right, guys, we got about 8.5 minutes. Yeah, well, generally during government shutdowns, one of the things that we see is one of the things that we see from government shutdowns is a buy the rumor, sell the news dynamic, where the market moves down in anticipation of the shutdown, and then after the shutdown, markets move up. Oh, thank you, Pawn. Yeah, Pawn just sent me this. You know? This is gonna be me. You know? Fight the good fight. Bring the reports back. Help support the beginner trading channel here. Yeah. I mean, we had 3,000 plus people. We got like 30,000 views for the Fed minutes report yesterday. So we still got some stuff to cover. But I'm still not happy about this shutdown. You know? All right, guys. 7 minutes here. 7 minutes. Yeah, I mean, they met yesterday at 11, and they did not come to any type of agreement. And so we don't know when this thing's going to end. Markets are pricing in weeks of shutdown. It's now day 9. If we look at like Kalshi, markets are pricing in weeks. Markets currently have it priced in 60% chance think the shutdown is going to last over 20 days. 3 weeks, basically. Markets now think 3 weeks. 50% of people think it's going to last over 25 days. 34% of people think it's going to last over over a month. Hey, thank you, Ramsey. I appreciate it. No data coming means you'll be jobless? Me? Nah, dude. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to be 30-something thriving. Or wait, what is it? 30-something flirty and thriving during the shutdown. Don't put that on me. You know? I mean, we haven't had data. Look at this. You know? We got 30,000 views yesterday for the FOMC minutes report. So I'm definitely not struggling from this. We still got enough data. We got the Fed meeting. We got enough data to cover. But I'd rather the data be here, you know. All right, guys. Jerome Powell speaks at the community banking conference. At a community banking conference at 8:30. That is in about 5 minutes. Need to correct at the end of this month. Yeah, AMD flying up right now, man. AMD broke all-time highs yesterday. So did NVIDIA. So AMD's been wild. I'm going to put gold up right here, though, because I'm just curious to see what gold does during this. But yeah, the big thing is that the Fed's not going to have enough data to go off of. Right? So everybody's expecting that they're just going to continue on the path that they're on, which is a 25 basis point cut next in a couple weeks on the 29th, I believe. So that's what it's looking like now. Gold's slightly red on the day, actually, right now. So gold is a little red here. Yeah. Again, I don't know if Powell's going to say anything about the economy. We're going to stream it. But yeah, he probably won't say anything outlook related. But still, come join us. And we're going to stream it live. As we do here. Again, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We now have about 3.5 minutes left. Again, spot silver apparently hit $50. Near $50 now. So it didn't actually hit it, but it's nearing. Again, jobless claims will be delayed. No 8:30 release for jobless claims today, unfortunately. I could always teach karate if this thing continues. Dude, I'm top 3 worst karate practitioner in the world right now. You know, it'd be like Steven Seagal, John from Beginner Trading. You know, top 3 worst ever. I'm going to break out of these. I'm going to be like Forrest Gump. You know, I don't think I'm going to take the cast off whenever I'm finally healed. I think I'm just going to run like Forrest and just, you know, break out of this. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Let's see what he says. Let me get the music ready here, actually. I'm going to turn the music off. I'm going to raise the volume. Make sure we don't miss it here. Again, do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't yet. We appreciate it. Silver now at 50. Yeah, gold trying to stay green on the day. Again, we got about a minute and a half left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on the stream. You're not wrong, Kay. You're not wrong, Kay. Yeah, there's a little bit of differences in price, though. Again, guys, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on the stream. We appreciate it. Jerome Powell speaks live. We'll see what he says. Anybody that says this speech is critical, ignore them. This is not a critical speech. Again, I'm here to tell you, he's probably not going to say anything about economic outlook. Like, I could lie just to get you to, like, watch more, but he's probably not going to say anything about economic outlook. Anybody that says he is and that this is some huge speech doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay? You're welcome for being honest. All right, we're waiting here. We got 10 seconds or so until it's supposed to start. All right, I got both speeches up. We're ready. It's supposed to start right now. We're waiting here, guys. Okay, here they go. They're about to start. When it does start, let me know if the volume is loud enough. All right.
And welcome to the Federal Reserve. My name is Amanda Roberts, and I am a member of the Community Bank Supervision Team, as well as one of the conference organizers. Before we get started, I have to briefly go over some housekeeping items. So the first thing, probably most importantly, is if you haven't found them already, the bathrooms are down the hall and to the right. Second, please silence your cell phones. Third, this is a reminder that today's event is being live streamed on the board's YouTube channel. If you ask a question during Q&A, please wait for a microphone and identify yourself. Lastly, as I'm sure you've already discovered, the Federal Reserve is a secure facility. We ask that you please keep your security name tag on all day long, with, of course, the exception of panelists up on stage. You can take it off for that. If you need to step out of the building, or you need a quiet place for a phone call, or you have any other questions, please see one of the board employees sitting right outside the door here at the desk. We are now going to begin our conference with welcoming remarks from the Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell.
Good morning and welcome to the Federal Reserve Board. I'm sorry that I'm traveling today and could not be with you. Thank you to Vice Chair for Supervision, Mickey Bowman, for hosting this conference. Thank you also to all the board staff that made this event possible. Community banks play a vital role in the U.S. financial system because they have strong links to the people and businesses they serve and direct knowledge of local economic conditions. These close ties allow community bankers to better understand their customers and the ensuing products and services for those they serve. I saw this clearly when I led the board's Community and Regional Banks Subcommittee as a governor. I have also seen the critical role of community banks in the communities where I've lived, including as a community bank customer. Today's event is a helpful opportunity for Fed leaders to hear from community bankers and learn more about the issues you face. We're committed to understanding these issues, and we have long been committed to tailoring our supervisory practices as appropriate for community banks to reduce unnecessary burden, while still ensuring that community banks continue to operate in a safe and sound manner. Thank you so much for being here today to share your knowledge and experience, and thanks for being such a vital part of the communities that you serve.
You're welcome. All right, so that's Powell. I told you guys he probably wouldn't say anything about the economy. We got Bowman speaking in a little bit. I don't know if they're even going to say anything. But yeah, like I said, they're probably not going to be talking about the economy. Let me lower the volume of this a little bit. Anybody that told you this was some huge speech, you know, they're just trying to get clicks. I told you guys right before this, they're probably not going to talk too much. And yeah, that's what it is. They didn't talk too much. I'm going to get the music playing and yeah. All right, so Powell is done speaking. Let me get the music back up. Gold's still at 4,061 right now. Hey. I love you. Have a good day. Ooh. What color what color tie did he have? I didn't even see it. What was his tie? Yeah, gold's still technically green on the day here. Sure you can see it. AMD has been the one that's been running wild here. Look at AMD. AMD and Nvidia breaking all-time highs. Hey, dude. Love you, buddy. Good day, dude. Are you making fun of me right now, bro? Are you making fun of me right now? I see you. I know what you're doing. Bro. Those are expensive crutches, dude. Don't do it, man. No, do not do that over here. I love you. Put the crutches down. I'm just messing with you. It's all right. I mean, don't play with them. You got to go to school. All right, love you, man. Have a good day, dude. All right, sorry. My son's over here playing with my crutches. He can't outrun me right now. He probably beat me up right now. Don't tell him, you know. Yeah, look at AMD. Nasdaq's been pretty flat. Gold has been going back and forth between green and red on the day. Bowman doesn't comment on monetary policy or economic outlook either. Wealth creation trade, AMD, yeah. Why would I trade the micro Nasdaq and not the Nasdaq 100? Well, you can't trade the Nasdaq 100 directly. You have to trade an ETF based around it or the futures market. Futures market ultimately has less red tape, so you can generally trade futures easier. without the PDT rule. There's no PDT in futures. And so with that said, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, gold. Yeah, Powell already spoke, did not comment on monetary policy. Neither did Bowman. I'm looking at gold right now. Gold's at 4,061. Yeah, you can vote on our poll if you want to contribute here. Do you guys think the stock market is in a bubble right now? Specifically tech is what I would say. Do you think tech is in a bubble right now? I tried to tell everybody before this event that Powell probably would not speak on monetary policy. I said this over and over again, but then, you know, again, if your person's telling you this was some big crucial speech, they do not know what they're talking about. AI bubble. Amazon doesn't look bad. Powell doesn't look worried about the economy. He already spoke. He didn't say anything about economics. Like, the conference is still going on with them, if you look at this.
To America's economic future. Thank you for being here with us today, both in person and virtually. So now I would like to thank our Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, for taking time from his busy schedule to join us here today to discuss community banking.
Yeah, they're discussing banking. But again, Bowman spoke already, did not comment on monetary policy. We got some other Fed speakers, though. I would say some of his speeches. Yeah, he already spoke, Vibe. I don't think we're in bubble territory yet. Maybe not. I don't know. We're going to day trade live at the opening bell, so stick around. Yeah, now Bessent is speaking. Here's Bessent.
Across the Trump administration, we are eager to get the government reopened so agencies can continue to work for the American people. Glad to see all of you were able to continue your work today. This morning, I wish to focus on how we can better serve the American people and the important role community banks play in that effort.
Okay. Yeah, that's not really anything market moving. Community banking. Yeah, Pepsi CEO predicts North American beverage business will boost profits in the fourth quarter. Yeah, so far we had earnings. We had Pepsi earnings this morning. They came in good. We had Tilray earnings. They came in good. We had, what was the other one? We had Delta Airlines, BDPSB revenue. Most of those are up. And we're heading into earnings season as well. So, like, I think the good news is that even though we don't have any economic data to go off of, we got earnings season. It's basically here right now. So earnings season is here. We'll see what this looks like. But yeah, we do have earnings. So we got some stuff to cover. Yeah, Top Step is great. No PDT rule in futures. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. But genuinely useful because you can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. Patterns are very similar to like equity day trading patterns, but there's no PDT rule. Get you around the PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P and the Nasdaq. They give you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you lose $50 for the base one. So it's the best of both worlds. You're still risking something, which is important because a paper account is just paper. But your risk is small, and if you pass it, you get a 90% split once you're funded, and you get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. And so it's the best of both worlds. They pay out millions, have some of the most reliable payouts ever, and just really useful to learn how to day trade. I lost thousands of dollars as a day trader in the beginning. You can kind of avoid some of that here. You'll still probably lose day trading in the beginning, but it's a lot cheaper usually in general. But again, confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. Here's the link if you want to check it out. Again, they are a sponsor of mine. I'll pin it to the top of the chat. Credit concerns about middle and lower. Sadly, the top 10% decide. Powell didn't say anything regarding the economy. Mag 7 earnings, they should be probably, I would say, in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think this week we have, next week we got banks. Like Tuesday next week we got BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Johnson & Johnson, Domino's, Ericsson, Albertsons, and more. And then Wednesday next week, we got ASML, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Dollar Tree, Progressive, Synchrony, Abbott, Prologis, Citizens, First Horizon, PNC Financial, Bank 7, United Airlines that evening, JB Hunt that evening, Pinnacle that evening. TSM earnings are going to be on Thursday, October 16th. Charles Schwab in the morning. Interactive Brokers. Yeah, so earnings season is going to be the week of Monday, October 20th, I think, if history tells me anything. Yeah, we got Netflix earning Tuesday, October 21st. Tesla earnings Wednesday, October 22nd. So yeah, Mag 7 earnings are going to start the week of the 20th. Thursday, we got Intel, which is probably going to be big. I'll probably stream Intel earnings this time just based off of all the stuff going on. But markets aren't really moving here this morning, man. They're very, very slow. Not much going on. Government's still closed. Powell already spoke. He spoke at 8:30. He didn't speak for long. He spoke for 5 minutes or less, and he didn't say anything about the economy, really. He just delivered opening remarks. AMD and Nvidia should lead the way in earnings. Yeah, Nvidia is always usually the biggest earnings report, but on his way to Hawaii. Look how sideways market. I don't even know what to do with this market. I mean, I'm green mostly on the day, but man, here's my trades on Top Step so far. But market's so sideways. The range is tiny here, guys. I don't know what to do. Look at gold push up. Gold's moving up. Gold all-time highs are somewhere close to us. I think they're 40.81. They're at 65 right now, 64. The gold's spiking up a little bit here. Jeffries talked on the government shutdown, though. Let's see what he said. You gotta be careful with the OpenAI, though, ChatGPT. Alright, so Jeffries accused the right of preferring to shut down the government rather than securing permanent extensions for healthcare subsidies. He said the Dems are ready to negotiate anytime, any place to reopen, but that they won't support a partisan republic. Spending bill that would gut healthcare. He claims the right have gone radio silent, no communications. He frames the healthcare subsidy issue as urgent, pointing to rising premium copay and deductibles. In a hallway confrontation, he told Rep. Mike Lawler to, quote, keep your mouth shut after Lawler demanded Jeffries join a one-year extension of ACA subsidies. Oh man, so they're really like beefing here, apparently. I'm not gonna pick sides, but they're really genuinely, Alright, so KLAR and Google Cloud enter a strategic AI partnership, and Google also announced their Gemini enterprise system this morning, and so Google's been actually reacting positively to this. How do you trade this right here, though? A diss track coming soon? Yeah, maybe. Who's got the better flow? Is what you got to ask yourself. I heard the president. Somebody made an AI president one. It was funny. You don't trade this? Yeah, I'm not trading this right now. It's too sideways. Gold's moving up. If I did trade something, it would be gold. Yeah, guys, I'm going to bring this up here. Does that cover all the economic data? You know? Shorting gold? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to short it around all-time highs. Maybe that's the time to short it. I think if we get over 475, I might long it for a very small sliver of upward movement. But I just got to be careful just because pullbacks can happen quick. Sell-offs can happen quick. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Powell didn't say anything about the economy. Bro, this leg brace they gave me is so intimidating looking, man. Yeah, we stream every day. We normally stream economic reports, right? So we normally are like a big stream for payrolls and unemployment and CPI, retail sales, but the data's closed because the government shut down. Again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. You don't think they could have somebody that could just release the data? It says non-essential workers are the ones that are furloughed right now. You would assume that the data is essential and that they would keep the people compiling that data as well as the people releasing that data on to guide the Federal Reserve and its monetary policy decisions that affect the economy. You know, the Federal Reserve, their job is to maintain balance between inflation and the labor market. High inflation, you know, is generally a bad thing, and they will restrict the economy if they need to curb inflation by raising interest rates and reducing their balance sheet. If recession and labor market weakness is the risk, they will pivot to rate cuts, which is what we've currently done last meeting and probably this upcoming meeting. And again, I think the risk is that if we don't try to revive the labor market a little bit, we could head towards a recession. And then once we hit a recession, it's much more likely that the Fed is going to step in and do like quantitative easing, money printing, where they create online bank reserves and then use that to buy up bonds and MBSs and other financial assets, injecting liquidity. But it also is one of the root causes of inflation from the 2020s, right? In 2020, everything was struggling, supply chain problems, lockdowns, all this stuff went on. And so the Federal Reserve did that and brought rates down to almost zero. And all that mixed with the stimulus checks and the supply chain problems caused inflation. And so if you fear inflation, I get it. You might not want them to lower interest rates. But if we get in a really bad labor situation that we need to try to revive it with money printing, it can make everything much worse, I think, personally. But maybe I'm wrong. You know, let me hear your arguments if you disagree. I think everything's become so political with this, and I'm not very political as a person. So I think a lot of people choose which side they're on, whether they think inflation is a larger risk or whether they think labor weakness is the larger risk based off of their political affiliation. And I don't really have an affiliation. But I think we could do a couple small cuts, 25, 25, 25, or 25, 25, and not do any type of quantitative easing or money printing to try to bring them down faster. And I think we'd be okay. All right, Nasdaq's starting to starting to run up a little bit. Again, Powell says community banks play a vital role. Bowman didn't comment on monetary policy. Besson's still speaking right now, but I think he's just talking about banks here. Like, here's Besson.
Must preserve what works in the current system. That includes the prohibition on volume-based discounts for large lenders, as well as the cash window and other features that preserve equal secondary market access for small lenders.
Okay. Whatever he just said is not exciting enough for me to stream. We don't want QE, man. Get QE out of here. We already did QE not that long ago. I think the last time prior to 2020 was in 2008, just to give you some history of it. If we did it 5 years ago, we shouldn't do it again right now. All right, Nasdaq's starting to round a little bit higher here. Yeah, we did it in 2008. 1.25 trillion in MBSs, 300 billion in treasuries. I mean, I don't know. I guess we did it a little bit in 2012. Yeah, I'm not a hater of anybody. I kind of want to buy this dip right here, but we're at the top of the range. I don't know if buying the top of the range is smart. And sure enough, with my luck, this thing's gonna... But I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just gonna wait. This range is not good. Yeah, I know crypto guys want QE to send altcoins bumping up. I understand. Ouch! Dude, this cast they gave me. It's not a cast. This brace. Wild. I'm gonna vent about this all day. You might as well just be ready for it. I think everything is just fine. Media is fabricating fear, so it can't be the top yet. I don't know. I mean, I think we have some mirroring characteristics of the dot-com crash. It doesn't mean we're gonna crash. You know, not that many people thought we would. Like, one of the things I'm seeing is like a lot of people think we're in a bubble, and that can either mean two things: we're not in a bubble, or we've learned our lesson and somehow are able to not be overly greedy and predict the next corrections, which I think is much more far-fetched than, you know. But I also think we have some mirroring similarities to the dot-com crash. Bubbles. A bubble is defined as like euphoria, overvaluations, unprofitable companies making money, high PE ratios. You know, in 2000 it was described, or in the 90s it was described as irrational exuberance. basically euphoria. Everybody's interested, and we kind of see the same thing, but we also see the same dynamic during big bull runs too. So maybe we are, maybe we're not. I don't know. Are we, Matthew? Are we in euphoria right now? I don't know. I don't know. I asked people, do you think we're in a bubble? Is the stock market in bubble territory? 64% say yes, 36% say no. Which AI stock will go crazy next? We've seen a lot of them. AMD broke all-time highs today and yesterday. Nvidia broke all-time highs yesterday as well. Sure enough, maybe I should have bought this dip. I was really thinking about buying this one right here. I told you guys my luck, it would go like this, but a little early to tell still. Again, the good news with my leg is that my meniscus was already torn, most likely. There's no fluid around my meniscus per the MRI. My orthopedic looked at it. And so my meniscus was probably already torn a long time ago, and it's already healed from that. So I just gotta let my MCL heal. Bubble boy. I meant future positions, space, not long-term positions. I don't really like buying the Nasdaq here for long-term. A little bit too elevated right now. I like to buy dips more than buying tops. I don't think anybody really necessarily likes to buy tops because you only know it's a top in hindsight. I like to buy pullbacks more so than high of the day breaks. You know, I think there's an edge specifically in the range leading to an all-time high. Like if this is the all-time high, I don't want to buy a break like this necessarily. I would much rather instead wait for us to break a breaking point, I guess, like here, right? Like slowly crawl up, look for a support hold, and then once we get that, attack the range up to the high. Not quite to the high because sometimes we reject right below it, but instead target this range right here for a day trade, if that makes sense. Because I think this range right here is much more higher percentage than if we break highs here and keep running, right? I think this type of range, I think people get really excited as we get close to highs, and buys are much more likely to step in. And so if we can reach like a breaking point here with it, the market moving up and testing this high becomes much more probable, even if it just dumps down once we test it. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of my favorite strategy now in this type of market when we're at all-time highs for day trading specifically. Long-term trades, I usually just like to buy stuff in DCA. I also like to swing trade really beat up companies that are healthy with low PE ratios. Like if I can find a company that is down a big percentage over the last 6 months, has a low PE ratio, and has a long-term upward trend. If we get like a big overreaction from like earnings or something where it drops 10 or 20% or 15% or 10%, like I bought United Health at 240. Buffett certainly helped that position a week later when he announced he was buying it. But I told the whole stream I bought it and bought it. It was nice. I also bought a bunch of different companies where almost all of them are green since then. Now, in bear markets, it's not going to work like that. And so you kind of have to pivot your strategy away from that type of thing during bear markets. But there's also some stocks that are going to be like Buffett in 2000 was one of the people saying, hey, we might be extended. So Buffett in the 90s was, instead of buying up all that crazy tech, he was buying up outlier companies that weren't necessarily tech and you know, big companies. And he did well when everybody else lost money. Buffett did. And so there's companies you could buy during big corrections and pullbacks in bear markets. But But everybody's different. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Don't copy me. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time. Don't do it. Not an investment professional. But yeah, that's kind of my strategies that I try to use. Gold is interesting right now. Look at gold. Gold's getting very close to this all-time high level as well here. So gold is something I'm watching right now. Gold up to 4,072s. Let me get this screen out the way. There we go. Look at gold right here. Gold at 4,072s right now. AI is dependent on available energy in the power grid. What happens if the data centers do not get all that power? I still think it's 10 p.m. and the party goes to 4 a.m. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. Again, one of the things I'm pretty outspoken about here is like, you know, I've run this stream for a long time. Every single year, without fail, somebody is telling me and pressuring people to sell and telling everybody the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash. And I would say 80% of the time, those people are wrong. You know, most of the time they're pressuring everybody. They're making fun of people who don't believe them. They're doing all this crazy stuff. And that's, honestly, that's the sign of a rookie investor, like a rookie trader. Because nobody knows for sure. There's always variance. Anybody with any type of reasonable experience is going to be like, hey, this is what it looks like. This could happen. This might not happen. But this is what it's looking like. Anybody that says this is 100% going to happen, you know, on this day is usually just a rookie. But with that said, I do think there's a little bit more risk right now, of course. But sometimes whenever the market does this, the market just rips up. And so you always have to weigh both sides. And I think that's important. Coming from the top 3 worst trader, you know, or maybe the top 3 greatest trader. Let me know which one I am. But yeah. No, I sold Marvell. It's mostly just a swing trading strategy. So once I get like a large percentage gain, I'm usually out. I should have held it in hindsight, of course. I don't remember where I sold it, but I sold it. My last nice buy was SoFi. I bought SoFi. I'm in PayPal. Bought PayPal at 68s. It's at 77s. Bought Coca-Cola. I bought Target at 86. It got up to 90s now. I bought Hims at 41. It's at 60. Almost 60. 58s. So. No, I don't, Mr. Tomato. Yeah, silver's been running with precious metals gold. The thing about silver, though, is a lot of the time there's kind of more of an incentive to keep silver prices low because they use it for technology. But silver's been on a run. Yeah, I had a family member that wanted to sell Tesla whenever the April thing happened. And Tesla dipped pretty heavily. And so it was one of my wife's family members. And my wife came to me and asked me what I would do. And what I told her was that I wouldn't be selling Tesla right here. Instead, I'd probably be buying more if I were them because it's cheap. You know? And in hindsight, that was absolutely correct. I can't remember what they did. I don't remember. But Tesla's been wild. Yeah, I'm in crypto. I'm in Bitcoin, a couple other altcoins. Yeah, remember, guys, subscribe. We do this live every day. Usually we cover the economic data as well. We get thousands of people here tuning in for it. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, a friend of mine, I feel kind of bad. A friend of mine wanted to buy USAR. Because he heard rumblings of, he heard rumors. He wanted to buy it down here. And I didn't tell him not to buy it. That's not what I told him. I told him that I didn't know this company. But that it was volatile is what I told him. It might move up big. It might move down big. And sometimes when people who don't invest hear about something, it's too late. I.e., Dogecoin. My mom wanted to buy Dogecoin at 75 cents. She reached out to me asking me about it. I told her, no, I don't think it's good here. And this was in 2021. And now I think Dogecoin's doing a little bit better. It's at like 25 cents, but it's down 65% right now from where she wanted to buy it. So sometimes by the time people outside the market hear about something, it's too late. But again, USAR, look at the Nasdaq dip. USAR has, since he asked me about it, is up 100%. And so I hope I didn't, again, what I told him is I didn't know. Right? What I told him is I didn't know. But it looks like the rumors were right. All right, guys, we got 23 minutes until the market opens. We are going to be day trading live today, so stick around, watch us day trade. Yeah. I remember I wanted to buy Bitcoin at $2,500 a coin. And should have bought more. XRP, I have Dogecoin, I've got a bunch of them, to be honest. Yeah, Nasdaq's not really moving here, so gold's still pushing up. Gold's getting very close to all-time highs. And again, like I said, the all-time high level for gold is right here. So it's kind of the same type of thing I just explained, where once we break over like a breaking point here, that's the worst. That's the top 3 worst rectangle ever right there. Let me redo this. Is that a, pride reasons. That's only the top 10 worst ever. All right, but yeah, once we break over like a breaking point here, it becomes much more likely something's going to move up to at least test highs. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. Sometimes we dump down afterwards. But the same concept here, I'm looking for the range up to the high of the day, not necessarily trying to break highs and ride that up. Yeah, so again, jobless claims didn't come out today. Still delayed. The latest available report is from September 25th. The week ending September 20th is what it covers. So we haven't really had any updated labor remarks. Palladium rises over 3% to almost $1,500 an ounce. Yeah, silver. Very close to 50. Silver's ripping up. Look at silver and gold fly. Got very close to 50. Nvidia close to all-time highs again today as well. Hit 193s in pre-market. Yeah, I don't like holding it long term, but anything could happen. Silver got up to basically 50 and now it's correcting back down. Same dynamic I talked about. I think you see it a lot. The problem is, like, markets are not always going to be at all-time highs, so it's a niche scenario. Again, Japan's Takaichi says the Bank of Japan is responsible for monetary policy means, but any decision it makes must align with the government's goal. They don't want to trigger excessive yen decline. He said, I don't see an immediate need to revise the government. And again, Besant said that they're going to release the Treasury budget STMT after shutdown ends. Private credit increases the depth of the U.S. financial system. Intel unveiled the Panther Lake architecture, the first AI PC platform built on 18A. So gold, silver ripping up. Nvidia's been pushing up, but the Nasdaq is starting to turn down here. I've heard mixed things though, Ray. Yeah, this is silver all-time highs, I think. Unless... It's close to all-time highs. Or no, all-time highs on silver is 50.5. So... yeah, we got 15 minutes in the market opens. Again, Takaichi is saying JGBs are held overwhelmingly by domestic investors and bond market is the most stable in the world. Not in a position to comment on rate hike. There are both benefits, demerits, and weak yen, which provides buffer for exports but pushes up import costs. Bitcoin green on the day, but it's been pulling back with the markets. By digital earnings, yeah, I see that today. I had to do legs. You know, I don't want to hear anything about legs right now, to be honest. feel like a cyborg right now. All right, so I was a little tempted in buying the Nasdaq here. I think I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, Tony? Yeah, we'll see what the market does. We'll see. Nasdaq is in a pretty tight range here. Not really moving that much. Up and down, up and down. I'm waiting for the opening bell to take most of my trades. Yeah, again, the news on my knees actually better. I saw an orthopedic yesterday. He said my meniscus was already torn and it's probably healed. There's no fluid there. Fluid is all around my MCL, so that's probably the more acute injury that we're going to focus on. MCL is probably already torn from a while ago. Or meniscus is already torn from a while ago. Anyways, Nasdaq's pushing up. Let's watch the 200 exponential. So it's actually good news, but yeah. Here's the 200 exponential. Gold pulling back. Again, same dynamic. We get close to all-time highs. We correct, right? So I just look for that range up there. Nasdaq's pumping back up right now, though. Let me see if there's any news. $11 minutes. How much do you squat right now? About 2 pounds. Like I said yesterday, right? A 12-year-old could beat me up right now, you know? Very sideways market. Yeah, Tilray had earnings today. They actually did pretty good on their earnings. The last time I looked at it, they were pretty green. If you take a look at TLRY, cannabis company up 204 from 170s, up about what, 16-17% for Tilray. So they're doing pretty good. No, 20% increase. Yeah, didn't you say it was $25 a tick for silver? There's 2 silvers though. There's SIL silver, which is 1,000-ounce silver futures, and then there's SI silver. I know, I was gonna buy it, man. I should have bought it. Alright. I was also gonna buy it right here. And so it's probably for the best. I'm just gonna wait till the open. The market's too choppy. Unless I'm gonna short the top of the range and cover at the bottom here. You know? I don't think there's really easy money to make right now. I'd rather just wait and see if we get some volatility. AMD's been pushing up again. They've been breaking all-time highs as well. I don't really like phone companies, Ricky. The reason I don't like phone companies is because I'm seeing a trend away from contracts. They're going to lose margins. I've given this example before, but I was trying to buy my daughter a phone service. And we went to AT&T and we needed it done quick. We went to AT&T, bro. They wanted my social. They wanted all kind of crap. They wanted, you know, $70 a month long-term contract. And eventually we were just like, why? And they couldn't really give us an answer. Like the salesmen are too busy trying to earn commissions. And so eventually we were just like, look, we're just going to go get a prepaid service. And I think this is something like we're seeing more and more now with cell phone carriers where they're trying to throw all this stuff. Now, the other dynamic is that a lot of the same companies like AT&T and Verizon and they do cable services, and I think we've seen a transition from people using DirecTV, AT&T, Comcast, Verizon for cable, and we're seeing them move to contractless streaming services like YouTube TV, like Sling, like Hulu, Amazon Prime. We're seeing football even come on some of these. Like YouTube has football now, and I think that is all bad for those telecommunications companies. I'm not really trying to buy them, is the point. They might continue to go up. I really don't know. But for me, there's risks long term to those. I don't really want to buy them. Yeah, a lot of the time, the companies that pay high dividends, though, are trying to talk you into holding a super depreciating asset. And so, I don't know if that's Verizon. What's Verizon's dividend? I know long-term, they really haven't gone anywhere, though. And really, they've got a long-term downward trend. So, but if their dividend compensates for it, it still might be profitable. I just don't know. I really don't know there. I'd rather just be honest. Yeah, I mean, you're missing my point, Campbell. He said, guess where they prepaid companies operate off top 3 towers, bro. They can't lose. Dumb analysis. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. The reality of it is, excluding that part specifically, what I'm talking about, which you seem to miss, is that these telecommunications companies, their margins are going to get worse. All right, their margins are going to get worse. People aren't going to get locked into long-term contracts as easily with them. They're going to lose business in that regard. They're also going to lose business from streaming. And I think this is incredibly clear, incredibly obvious, right? And I get it, you might be holding those companies. That's fine. Live your life. I have no idea. Maybe I'm wrong. You might be right. But the risks are too high for me to be interested in buying them, Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't go up. I'm saying I don't feel comfortable enough to buy it. I think you could have obsolete aspects of it, and I don't really want to buy that long term. And maybe I'm wrong. It's just my red flags pop up in my head, and so I'm just going to avoid it. People already have the internet with them, though, but they're going to be dropping the cable aspect of it. And so I don't think that's going to boost. I don't think them having to use the internet for streaming is going to give them tons of extra money either. All right, guys, we got 4 minutes. I think people already have their internet. They're just going to lose business on the other end. Anyways. Nasdaq super flat. Look at this red candle ahead of the opening bell. Maybe this is the market on open. Yeah, what I'm noticing, though, just to give you the other argument of that, is that these streaming services are now throwing in advertisements. And so what we're seeing is like kind of a gotcha moment for some of these streaming services where they're like, hey, move over to here. You won't have commercials. And so everybody's like, okay. And then they move over there. And then once they get them hooked, they're like, boom, now we're gonna hit you with commercials, or you gotta pay us more, right? I am seeing that Amazon Prime has commercials now, unfortunately. So does Hulu's always had commercials, but sideways range here. Opening bell in 3 minutes. Wow, I bumped into your channel yesterday because of the FOMC. I've listened to you talk in the background while I watch the charts, and you are one cool dude. Don't boost my ego, bro. I appreciate it, though. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. We try over here. We try. Top 3 most wrong ever, apparently. But we try. Nasdaq starting to flush back down here. Very tight range. Top 3 coolest ever. Yeah, that's right. All right, we have 2 minutes. All right, guys, bull or bear open. We did a poll this morning, 2,000 votes. 65% say yes, the stock market is in a bubble. I'm gonna end this poll. Yeah, top 3 least cool dude ever. But no, I'm gonna do another poll. Are you bullish or bearish today for the open? All right, there's the poll. Nasdaq is choppy. Y'all be careful today. It's very choppy. It looks a little whippy too. Up and down, but sideways, big range maybe. So just be careful. I'm going to wait and let 5 minutes pass after the bell. We will see what we get. Yeah, welcome, Oz. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. 2 minutes for what? The opening bell. Really, it's about a minute and 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Speaking of this, I heard Samsung or LG are making fridges with large screens and ads on said screens. No, they're not going to lock your fridge unless you watch an ad. They might let you watch TV and throw some ads in there, though, in the kitchen. They're going to hit you with utensil ads if you want to watch TV in the kitchen. Kind of smart. It's pretty targeted, too. You're thinking about kitchen supplies while you're in the kitchen. You know, I can't get mad at it. I understand it. You know. All right, guys, here we go. Looking at the poll, 60% are bull, 40% are bearish. Yeah, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you put it in 2x speed. We appreciate it. Top 3 egos. I'm going to read that as egos on YouTube. 5 seconds left. Nasdaq just tapped the top of the range a little bit here. All right, there's the bell. All right, Nasdaq flushing down here. Let's watch 25,300. Big retracement. AMD falling down a little bit. Where's Nvidia at right now? Nvidia dropping, AMD dropping. I don't really have an Insta. I have X at Beginner Trades. You want to give me a follow there? Powell didn't really say anything about the economy. I'm watching 25 threes right here. I want to see if we bounce, but Nvidia and AMD are starting to move back up. So if they continue up, it might drag the Nasdaq higher quickly. Again, I gotta wait at least 5 minutes. Let the fluff play out in the opening 5 minutes. Still in that range though. Nvidia is starting to come back down to 192s here. Very Again, like I said, a whippy open, big candle wicks up and down. S&P climbing higher. Yeah, we're very middle range. I'm going to wait for this range to break. Yeah, S&P did push up. It's not dipping down here, though. S&P is less tech heavy. Oh. Well, the Nasdaq follows Nvidia because Nvidia is such a large percentage of the Nasdaq. It's the most heavily weighted stock in the market. And whatever Nvidia does, a lot of the time the market follows it. I almost want to short right here, but we're only 3 minutes into the day. I gotta follow my rules. Could have shorted maybe, but again, watch 25 threes or just watch this range around 25 threes. It might. I'm not saying it will. There's 25-3 tap. Like a logical level is what this is, but you can also judge momentum just by how much it reacts. Broke through it. But that means we got a little bit more red momentum here. I'll buy this. Small, and we got a cushion on the day, so we're okay. Could be quick, though. There we go. Took half off. Cut the rest right there. Again, I'm going to take very quick scalps at the opening bell. We got the bounce exactly where. Not exactly, but 25-3. Doesn't mean it's going to hold over it. I just look for little pit stops at these levels. But, psychological levels is what it is. Top 3 greatest level ever right there. Again, it might keep breaking down. I don't know. That's why I get out quick. Yeah. Psychological level mixed with that pre-market low. I don't like the retest of it, though. I never like the retest because the retest becomes less likely. More likely that we're going to break down. This might be another level here, though. Momentum's on the downside. It's mostly Nvidia. Nvidia got close, and Nvidia broke all-time highs this morning at 193.10. New all-time highs. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna trade silver. I trade gold, micro gold, and you know stuff, but I'm not gonna trade silver. It's too crazy. I almost want to short this here, but let's try. Oh, I'm late, dude. It dropped right before I entered this position. All right, that's good. I'm gonna cover some of this now. There we go. Look at that. I was late to it too. I'm gonna cut it right here, just in time. I was trying to get in like right here, and it ended up dropping down to here right before I got in, but. Bitcoin's still pretty flat on the day. Netflix pushing up. If we get a breakdown now. To break down though, Nvidia would have to kind of crack lows and continue, and AMD would have to turn, and then we'd also have to see some other tech stocks like Google come down. And so it's not guaranteed for sure a breakdown here, but watch Nvidia and AMD. If they start to flush, then the Nasdaq will probably drop. Of course, you know. AMD's starting to flush right now. Nvidia looks like it's holding though. AMD's testing lows of the day now. Definitely lows of the last few hours. 234 is lows of the day. Yeah. There goes AMD crack. Just broke lows of the day for AMD. Nasdaq broke down under that level here. Nvidia starting to retest lows. Pepsi was good. It beat EPS, revenue. I don't think it was like a huge margin though, if I remember correctly. I think Pepsi was like, it beat EPS by a couple cents and revenue by a small margin. All right, look at Nvidia bounce quick here. Man, this range is not good either. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel? I got one sponsor. I'm biased. I get paid by them, but it's genuinely useful for traders. Check out Top Step. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, commodities, gold, silver. If you day trade equities, if you day trade indexes, which like S&P, Nasdaq, patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. When I first started day trading, I lost thousands of dollars. Trying to look cool in markets. Don't make the same mistake. You can risk $50 a month. It's not the end of the world if you fail it. Versus funding your own account thousands and probably losing it. It just doesn't make sense. If you pass the test, they give you a 50K funded account. You get to keep your first 10K and then 90% split afterwards. So it's the best of both worlds. So you're probably going to lose anyway because most day traders just lose. Doesn't matter where you go, who your mentor is, what course you take. Most day traders lose money. And so limit your risk with something like this. It's kind of like a souped up paper account that costs a little bit, but it's some paper accounts per month cost more than this anyway. It just makes sense. And they have their back to funding option, which lets you reset funded accounts. There's the link if you want to check it out. Again, they're a sponsor. I'm biased. $100K over 3 years, bro. You must have had a much bigger bankroll than me. I risked $4,000 for my first account. And that was a lot of money to me at the time, man. $4,000. This was like years and years ago. Before the inflation of 2020. $4,000 was a ton of money to me at the time. I was not happy when I lost it. I promise. All right, guys, look at the Nasdaq breakdown. Watch 275 right here. We just cracked pre-market lows. Watch 275. All right, there's 275s. Just ripped underneath it so far. Yep. Nasdaq flushing big here today. Watch 250s now. We didn't even stop at 275. Saudi Aramco has put 3 chemical expansion projects on hold via Bloomberg citing sources due to weaker oil prices. See if we reject 275 now. Money is not made in trading. Money is made in waiting. Who said that? I don't know. I don't remember. Somebody with $1 billion at least. Nvidia at 192s. Again, I'm just kind of sitting tight here. Short thesis was right. Okay, gold pulling back, hit the volume weighted average price right here. I mean, just a bit, so little information. I mean, I have a 49-inch ultra wide monitor below that y'all can't see. So I get more information than you guys realize. Top 3 most information ever. All right, so Nasdaq still rejecting here. Again, you got to watch AMD and Nvidia. These are what's moving the markets today. Gold correcting a little bit. Tesla, TD Cohen raises Tesla target. Nvidia is up. Broke all-time highs this morning. Might buy this now. We're green on the day, so we can take small risk here and see if we start to retrace back up. I see a lot of tech stocks starting to rebound right now, Nvidia and AMD. So I will let this work a little while, but we get chop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it. Only 2 contracts, so it's very small. We're still up 100 something, 150. We will still get a bounce here. Market at lows again. Nvidia looks like it wants to break all-time highs again, so again, I might buy this, try buying it again here. We got a cushion we can risk. Nvidia's right there. There we go. Better. There we go. We're gonna take half off there. Let the rest work a little bit more. Cut it here. I'm just gonna scalp it. Nvidia just broke all-time highs again. Basically made back everything I lost in that last trade. No, the news is on hold. We don't have any news today. Government shut down. We got Bowman speaking at 3:45. Kashkari, Michael Barr speaking at 1:45. But I don't think they're going to say much about economic policy. Yeah, Powell spoke early this morning. Jeremy. Yeah, look at Nvidia break all-time highs, 193.60s here. This is what I thought would rebound the market. Now that it's already there, I'm less interested in actually capitalizing on it, though. No, Powell didn't mention anything about economic or monetary policy. Look at this big rip. Again, Nvidia is still breaking all-time highs. Nvidia at 194s now. I think Nvidia might want $200 too, and if that happens, we might see some bigger bull action from that. I think Nvidia is close enough to 200 to where it's at least possible that we get a squeeze up. Been trading some of my other accounts. I'm green on those too, so we're green at everything today, which is good. Put some of this up here. See if Nvidia breaks too. I don't know, I haven't even pulled up my algorithm today. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you, I'm in the combine right now. I can ride this up. I want to see if Nvidia tests 200 is what I want to see. Got the rest break even right there. Let me see what my algorithm did. It did. Honestly, my algo has caught the bottom a bunch of different times. Look at that algo. Look at that drop. Whoa. What's dropping that quickly? Yeah, look at the algo though. Catching bottoms here on the algo. Top 3 algos ever. Big drop though, so it looks like I got out just in time on my trade here. Gold's still flushing down. Should have been paying attention to my algorithm all morning. Even been catching tops too. It's done really well. Like, look at the tops. Huh? Pretty good. That's like 5 for 5. Nah, I'm not giving this script away. Nasdaq's starting to flush down here too. Without getting into details, are you using RSI with that algo? No, it's not RSI. It's a bunch of different things combined, to be honest. I might give you the algo, but you might have to pay for it. And again, I'm going to go back to my favorite analogy here. If you were selling cupcakes and they were the top 3 cupcakes around, would you give them away for free? Of course not. It's Pine script, mostly. Look at that 200 exponential. Just bringing the attention to this. Look at this. That 200 EMA on a 1-minute chart, bro. Markets just respect it. I don't know why. I mean, my guess is because everybody's paying attention to all these short-term moving averages, like, and they don't work as well. And so you get a long-term one like the 200 exponential. Everybody watches that thing, man. Weird. It's surprising how much these big pullbacks will go right to the 200 exponential. Look at 250. Right here. Look at that little tap. Nvidia now dipping down, got up to 195.30s here. The question is it worth buying the dip? Again, I think my thesis right now, and I don't know what's going to happen short term with Nvidia. I think Nvidia wants $200 a share. And I think the closer we get to 200, the more buys are going to feed it, if that makes sense. Right? And so my thesis is long. I'm not telling you to buy. I have no freaking idea. I might be wildly wrong. But I think that makes sense to me. Markets want 200. We're in the 190s for Nvidia. The closer we get to 200, the more buys are going to feed it higher. And but again, with that said, we might get up to 199 and just dump. So just be careful. Are you talking to Ramsey, Hella? I mean, I'm the top 3 most convicted person ever. No. Don't take it out of context. Top 3 most, convinced person ever. My goal is to buy when red is the lowest and sell when green is the highest. Oh, so you're trying to buy low, sell high? I remember dial-ups. How long-term, Eduardo? Do you think long-term Nvidia is a hold? How long-term? Long-term? Like decades? Yes. Personally. Not an investment professional, not liable if you lose money. Decades? Yes. Short-term, we could be in a bubble. I don't know. Long-term, yes. Yeah, buy high, sell low. I think Warren Buffett said that. All right, guys. I think I'm going to cut out of here. Again, if you want to help support the channel, check out Top Step. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. Very similar to day trading stocks. Very similar to day trading stocks. 90% split once you're funded, which is similar to funding your own account, but your risk is $50. It's the best of both worlds. They have their back to funding option, lets you reset funded accounts with the same rules as normal funded accounts, which is rare and useful. And so I'll put the link up one more time. Again, understand all this stuff on screen. Market's a little bit too choppy for me. Honestly, I gotta get up. I got this big knee brace on right now. I feel like Alita Battle Angel right now. Or Forrest Gump. I don't know which one. Let me know which one I am. I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a great day. Again, as soon as I close this stream, it's immediately gonna feed you to tomorrow's stream. I expect you to wait. Hey, thank you, Oz. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you, sir. UNH is the only stock. UNH has been crazy, man. 375. I'm not mad I didn't hold. I mean, I'm kind of mad, but it was just a swing trade. And so I could always look at it in hindsight, but I made tons of money on it. So. All right, guys. Again, y'all be good. As soon as I close this stream, it's going to feed you to tomorrow. So I'll see you guys over there. Y'all be good. Have a great day.